start us off with some comments?
It's good to get back out on the field and see our kids compete and come away with a win. It's always good to play at home in front of our crowd. Early game, after 3 night games, 2 of which are on the road, is good for us. Hopefully we can use that time wisely to rest and recover from this game. There was some good individual efforts, some things that we continue to need to improve on, and it's our job as coaches to do that and address it and hopefully demand that we make corrections where necessary. But some good things, and I've learned this in this profession, you better enjoy the ones when you have a few hours to enjoy it before you get to move on, and it's what can you do for us next week, and that's, if your mentality is always focused on that. So I look forward to going home today, watching some games and eating some vegetable soup with my family. Hopefully the other coaches will do the same, and we'll get back tomorrow and improve.
All right, raise your hand, we'll bring a microphone to you.
Any immediate word on Evan's injury, and did y'all get out other than that relatively healthy today?
DJ Jones was out the second half also, and Evan. So I don't know. It's way too early for me to say on either one of those, but that's the only 2 that I'm aware of.
There were a lot of things you wanted to work on today. Do you feel like you got most of that accomplished in terms of cleaning some things up?
What I really want, I have got to do a better job of, this team I think needs me to be more passionate and show emotion, which some teams don't react really well to that. But I want to tell you this, here's the deal with this team and our coaching staff. If we have got to understand the amount of energy, the amount of focus that it takes to put into every single play in order for that play to be successful. And then forget it and move on. But every single play has a life of its own, and you never know that may be the turning point in competitive football games, which we're getting ready to have for the remainder of the year. And so, yeah, there was a lot of those, but I'm so locked in right now to the ones that aren't. It's one thing for a team to have a successful play when they, schematically they got us there, or that kid just made a great play or a great run. It's a whole nother thing for us to line up and not execute the plan, and it causes us a negative play, whether it's the punt return team, or whether it's the offense blowing a blocking assignment, or whether it's the defense blowing a coverage. And we still have those going on. And we have to come in tomorrow, look at every one of them as a coach. Am I doing everything I can to make sure that that's not going to happen? And then as players have to see it like that also. It's a long way around to say we did a lot of good things today. And we're going to enjoy this victory. There's still some critical areas or critical moments in the game where we don't execute it properly.
What was your plan for the offensive line today?
Play the healthy ones, the ones we have. I'm not sure. Can you be more specific?
Well, I mean, just in terms of rotation.
Rotation. We had, we had Fawn at left, and his backup was Christian. And we were determined to play both. I think at guard was Aaron, and Javon ended up feeling good enough to go. At center was Ben Steele and Feely. At right guard was Rod Taylor and Jordan Sims. And right tackle was Sean and Jeremy. And just wanted to get all of them reps. We're going to need them all down the stretch. I think Durante got some good reps too.
I know I saw a lot of people rotating in. Did Taylor come out early because of his injury? Did that play into it?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I know that we had a couple of blocking schemes that he was really confused on that caused us some. We had I thought some good runs coming. and just wanted to clear that up, and then went back in, but need to get him out and talk to him, say, no, you're missing something, because it was the same play we ran twice, and he obviously, we hadn't coached him well enough for him to understand what should be happening there. But his shoulder's getting better each week.
Hugh, I know it's easy to say because he's running late in the game against maybe, when the game's kind of away from him, but Eugene seems to make plays when he does get some time. Do you think you can see him maybe get a bigger role?
Those are tough questions. I don't be very candid. I said on the headsets when he did it, I said, all I know is he makes the most of his opportunities. And, and we say something around here that is really true. Prepare for your opportunity even if it doesn't come. And he has handled that beautifully. And when his comes, he's made the most of them. And something we have to continue to look at for sure. Thought Akeem ran the ball hard too, and finished with his pads forward. And
I don't know if you can answer this or not, but do you anticipate getting most of these guys, and I'm not talking about CJ and Tony Connor, back for this stretch run?
Man, we'd have to go down the list. I don't want to say something that's not totally accurate. I sure hope we get Robert and Bell back soon. Trying to think defensively who Strange should be back next week. Jalen should be back. Other than the ones that are out for significant stretches of time, I'm hopeful that we'll get them all back.
Mike, active today at Husky, how did you assess how he did, and also Terry's first start at linebacker?
Mike is definitely more comfortable, closer to the box. I'm glad that we made that move. Terry's got a ways to go. Plays hard, just a little bit out of control, and will get out of his gap control sometimes. And they hurt us on a couple of bend backs that he's kind of over pursuing. Love his attitude though. Love the way he comes in to study and prepares. So he'll get better because he's willing to do that.
All right, we'll take questions up top.
Looking ahead, Memphis, you've spent a lot of your life there.
Yeah.
What kind of maybe homecoming or kind of reception do you feel that you're going to get when you go back home?
I have no idea. Probably, I don't know. I would hope that I have nothing but good feelings for other people in Memphis. At that town, those people were very good to me for long years, 13 years. Still have a lot of good friends there. And I respect the job that Justin's done there, and what a good football team they have. They're very good in all facets, and they're playing confident. And I have no idea what reception I have. I hope that there's a mutual respect, but I can't. I have it. I can't really speak on the other end. But I think that's probably the way it is. Hopefully.
When you have Memphis playing like it is, and you guys playing the way you are, does it intensify this rivalry with Memphis, do you feel like?
Oh, absolutely. There's no hiding that fact that anytime you play a team that is in close proximity to you, there's an element of rivalry there, and with both teams having good seasons and a lot to play for, that it just intensifies it.
All right, we'll take some more questions up top.
Coach, just assess Chad Kelly's performance today.
Solid, but still too many decisions that could have resulted in negative plays, and a couple of them are my fault. I forget sometimes that this is his first year in our system, and man, I see something and I want to call something that we hadn't worked all week, and I did that a couple of times too. That those typically don't work out real well. Even though I really think it would be a really good play, but I just can't. I got to quit putting him in those positions. And then he tried to force a couple balls over linebackers' heads, and you can't do that. So we got to get that cleaned up. But it was a solid day for sure.
All right, any more questions up top?
I got one more. Hugh, with Memphis being important for you, recruiting so many players on this team from that area, how important is it for you in terms of recruiting and what does that city mean to your football team, given how many players are on the team that are from there?
Recruiting Memphis is always important. It's a big city, it has a lot of good football programs in it, which means there's a lot of good kids, so it's always important to us. And this game will have an impact on it for sure. I'm never, all of you that follow us know that I don't believe that ever one game decides in a recruit's mind his decision. I don't believe that. I think it gives you a temporary bump maybe, but long term I really believe relationships win out, and there's so many other factors that go into recruiting. But it's no question temporarily there will be a bump. It may get you more in the game with a recruit than normal, but I just don't think, I've just seen it too many times. Just winning one football game really doesn't make the decision for them.
Or we'll take questions down below.
Hugh, a couple of things. First one's kind of short. There was an SEC Network report that y'all received word from the NCAA that you'll get an update on Larry Tunsil's status next week. Can you confirm or deny that?
I was told by our administration that we should expect an answer hopefully next week sometime.
Okay. And the second thing, you're halfway through the season. Just what's the status of the team and expectations for the second half?
Status of the team is we're 5-1, and could have played better some games, played pretty well in spurts to be in the position we're in, but got a lot of tough games left, and we're a beat up team right now. Hopefully we can keep our kids healthy for this stretch run. It's gonna be fun because we got some really competitive games coming, but I think anybody, we've been disappointed in the way we played on the road last week, but I think year 4 to be sitting here at 5-1 and with a chance, I think, to win any game we play is, I think our status is pretty good.
You mentioned Mike Hilton a little bit. What did you think of your pass coverage in general today, and did your pass rush, how did that play into it?
When we got a decent rush, we had a couple quarterback scrambles that bothered me a little bit. We should have done a few things differently there. But when we all were on the same page with our coverage, it was pretty dang good. But we had 3 or 4 times where we're not on the same page. So, if you gave it a grade of, I think 80% of the time, we were really solid. But in competitive games like what we have left, I know what those other 20% of the time those plays could result in. So we just got to continue to get it coached and corrected.
All right, any more questions? All right, thanks, guys.